Okay, for all of you. So, yes, we have finished off with the chapter Genetic Basis of Inheritance, and today we start with the back MCQs. We have some excellent numericals in this chapter. आपको solve करने में बहुत मजा आया रहेगा. I think you all have solved the back MCQs. So please, सबसे पहले open your books, go to the back MCQs, and then you start the play and you start with the chapter today, the topic today. Alright, so open your books all of you and we begin. The first question, in the F2 generation of a dihybrid ratio, the ratio of original genotypes and new genotypes will be. Sir, in a dihybrid ratio, which are the original genotypes? Original genotype was capital Y, capital Y, capital R, small y, small y, small r, small r. And in this checkerboard, we get one plant capital Y, capital Y, capital R, and we get one plant small y, small y, small r, small r. In other words, two plants out of 16 are having parental genotypes. Two plants out of 16 are having parental genotypes. So what is the ratio? 2 is to 14. 2 is to 14, that is 1 is to 7. So answer B, 1 is to 7 or 2 is to 14 is the ratio of original genotypes to new genotypes. Next question. A miraculous jalapa white flower was crossed with a pink flower. What proportion of white flowers are you expected to get in the next generation? Miraculous jalapa, we remember, is the case of incomplete dominance, whereby red and white form pink. So here we are having that a miraculous white flower is crossed with a pink flower. So what will be the pink flower? Capital R, small r. What will be the white flower? Small r, small r. So pink flower is capital R, small r. White flower is small r, small r. So what is this an example of a test cross? So it's an example of test cross. What will be the gametes formed out of it? Capital R and small r. And here we will have small r and small r. So sir, उसमें से what will be the plant produced? Capital R, small r, capital R, small r, small r, small r, small r, small r. So 50% will become pink and 50% will become white. So what is the proportion of white flowers you get? 50%. What proportion of pink flowers you will get? 50%. So 50% pink, 50% white. What is this an example of a monohybrid test cross? An example of monohybrid test cross. Then we have question number 3. How many different types of gametes can be produced by a pea plant with genotype capital T, capital T, capital R, capital P, small c, capital A, capital A? We'll write it on the board. Capital T, capital R, capital C, small c, capital A, capital A. तो इसमें से कितने टाइप के gametes बन सकते हैं? We will have capital T, capital R, capital C, capital A, capital T, capital R, capital C, capital A, and we have capital T, capital R, small c and capital A, capital T, capital R, small c and capital A. So these two types of gametes are possible. Is there any other combination possible? No. So number of gametes possible depends on how many plants are heterozygous. समझो heterozygous एक है, heterozygous एक है, तो दो plants possible है. हाँ, समझो heterozygous दो होते थे, then that would have been possible. Capital T, capital R, capital C, capital A, capital T, capital R, small c, capital A, and then we got capital T, capital R, capital C and small a, and we could have got capital T, capital R, small c and small a. तो 4 टाइप के gametes possible हो जाते थे if it was 2 of them were heterozygous. So please pick up a pen and write in your books, all of you, very important, बहुत सारे न्यूमेरिकल्स इसके ऊपर है, टाइप्स ऑफ गैमीट्स और नंबर ऑफ गैमीट्स इज 2 raised to n, where n is heterozygous, where n is heterozygous. So समझो it is capital T, capital D, capital R, capital R, capital C, small c, capital A, then how many heterozygous we have? 1. So how many types of gametes possible? 2 raised to 1. In other words, only 2 gametes were possible. But समझो it was capital A, small a, then how many are heterozygous? 2. So number of gametes will be 2 raised to 2. In other words, 4 gametes would have been possible. समझो it was 3, then 2 raised to 3. In other words, 2 raised to 3, 8 gametes would have been possible. समझो it was 4, then that would have been 2 raised to 4. In other words, 16 gametes would have been possible. So number of gametes is 2 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. Next, number of phenotypes. Number of phenotypes is again 2 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. So how many phenotypes are possible? 2 raised to n. Then we have number of genotypes. Number of genotypes is 3 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. 3 raised to n for number of genotypes. And number of offspring. Number of offspring is 4 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. So check this here. Here we have capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. How many types of gametes are possible? 2 raised to n. How many types of gametes are possible? 2 raised to n. So 4 types of gametes. 4 types of gametes. How many number of phenotypes? 2 raised to n. So we get 4 types of phenotypes. 2 raised to 2, 4. Yellow round, yellow wrinkle, green round, green wrinkle. So how many types of phenotypes are possible? 2 raised to n. In other words, 4 types of phenotypes. How many number of genotypes are possible? 3 raised to n. So that will become 3 raised to 2. 3 raised to 2 will be 9 types of genotypes. 9 types of genotypes. Yes, we remember we get a ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 4 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1. So कितने टाइप्स के जीनोटाइप्स हो गए? 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 4 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1. So 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 4 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1. कितने टाइप्स के जीनोटाइप्स हो गए? 9 types of genotypes. How many types of genotypes? 9 types of genotypes. And what number of offsprings you get? 4 raised to n. 4 raised to n. In other words, you get 16 different types of offspring. How many types of offspring is possible? 4 raised to n. In other words, 16 different types of offsprings are possible. So once again, number of gametes 2 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. Number of phenotypes 2 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. Number of genotypes 3 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. number of offspring 4 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. So please remember this beautiful logic. Then we have question number 4. The squares in which yellow and wrinkled seeds of Pisum sativum will be obtained in the Punnett square. Yellow and wrinkled कौन से हैं? This is yellow wrinkled, this is yellow wrinkled, this is yellow wrinkled. And we remember in the lecture we had labeled that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So these are your squares, and which of the following squares are yellow and wrinkled? So 6th is yellow wrinkled, 8th is yellow wrinkled, 14th is yellow wrinkled. So which are yellow and wrinkled? 6, 8 and 14. Then we have number of pea plants with axillary flowers and yellow pods at the end of a dihybrid test cross will be. Beautiful question. Number of pea plants with axillary flowers and yellow pods at the end of a dihybrid test cross. Now sir, axillary flower is a dominant characteristic. Axillary flower is a dominant characteristic and yellow pods are recessive characteristic. याद है? Axillary is dominant, terminal is recessive. और pods में green is dominant and yellow is recessive. So here the question is, which will be the number of, the question is, what will be the number of pea plants with axillary flowers and green pods at the end of a dihybrid test cross? So sir, dihybrid test cross, समझो axillary is capital A and it is a dihybrid test cross, so capital A is small a and capital G for green and small g. So capital A small a, capital G small g into small a small a, small g small g. So if you remember, what was monohybrid test cross? Capital T small t into small t small t. This is monohybrid test cross. And this is capital A small a, capital G small g into small a small a, small g small g. This is a dihybrid test cross. So both plants are heterozygous for axillary and green, and it is test cross with recessive parent, which is small a small a, small g small g. In other words, terminal with yellow pods. Terminal flowers with yellow pods. So now, which will be the gametes you will get, sir? Gamete you will get will be capital A, capital G. By the way, gametes कितने होंगे? 2 raised to n. So 2 raised to n is how much? 2 raised to 2, where 2 are heterozygous. So how many gametes possible? 4. So which are these gametes? Capital A, capital G, capital A, small g, small a, capital G, and small a, small g. And which will be the gametes possible here? You get small a, small g, we get small a, small g, we get small a, small g, we get small a, small g. तो इसमें तो एक ही टाइप का gamete possible है, small a, small g, small a, small g, small a, small g, and small a, small g. And now check this here. This cross we do, we get capital A small a, capital G small g. And all these 4 will be capital A small a, capital G small g, capital A small a, capital G small g, capital A small a, capital G small g. So 4 plants will be capital A small a, capital G small g. In other words, these will be axillary with green pods. Axillary with green pods. And then this one you get is capital A small a, small g, small g. Capital A, small a, small g, small g. So 4 of them are capital A, small g, small g. In other words, 4 plants are axillary with yellow pods. Axillary with yellow pods. And then here we have small a, capital G, small g. Small a, capital G. So 4 of them are small a, capital G, small g. So 4 are terminal with green pods. Terminal with green pods. And 4 of them will be small a, small g, small g. Small a, small g. In other words, 4 of them will be terminal. We just write the genotype here. Small a, small g. So 4 of them are terminal with yellow pods. Terminal with yellow pods. So what is the phenotypic ratio we got? 4 axillary with green pods, 4 axillary with yellow pods, 4 terminal with green pods, 4 terminal with yellow pods. So what is the phenotypic ratio we got? 4 is to 4 is to 4 is to 4. 4 is to 4 is to 4 is to 4, which is same as 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. So what is your monohybrid test cross ratio? 2 is to 2, in other words 1 is to 1. Monohybrid test cross ratio is 2 is to 2, that is 1 is to 1. A dihybrid test cross ratio is 4 is to 4 is to 4 is to 4, that is 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. And this is your dihybrid test cross ratio. So here the question was asked, question number 5, number of pea plants with axillary flowers and yellow pods at the end of a dihybrid test cross will be, how many will be axillary flower with yellow pods? 4 of them are axillary flower with yellow pods. 4 of them are axillary flower with green pod. 4 of them are terminal flower with green pod. 4 of them are terminal flower with yellow pod. So कोई भी plant पूछेंगे, what is your answer? 4. 4 is to 4 is to 4 is to 4. In other words, 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. तो रेशियो क्या मिलेगा? 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. प्लांट कितने मिलेंगे? 4 is to 4 is to 4 is to 4. So what is this beautiful example of a dihybrid test cross? So once again we'll revise. Monohybrid test cross ratio is 2 is to 2. In other words, 1 is to 1. Dihybrid test cross ratio is 4 is to 4 is to 4 is to 4. In other words, 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. Nice question. Mark this important. Very nice question. Then we have question number 6. Genes for blood group A and blood group B are codominant. I capital A and I capital B is brought together. I capital A will form A group, I capital B will form B group, so blood group will become AB. What is this an example of? It's an example of codominance. Then the next question, how many types of phenotypes are produced by selfing of a pea plant showing a genotype as follows: capital R, small r, capital T, small t, small a, capital Y, small y, capital W, capital X, small x. अभी हमने लिखा है types of phenotypes is 2 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. So which of these are heterozygous? R is heterozygous, T is heterozygous, Y is heterozygous, X is heterozygous. R, T, Y and X are heterozygous. So 4 are heterozygous. So how many types of phenotypes are possible? 2 raised to 4. 2 raised to 4, in other words, 16 types of phenotypes are possible. So how many types of phenotypes possible from here? 16 types of phenotypes. Use the formula 2 raised to 4, that is 2 raised to n, where n is heterozygous. So 2 raised to 4 become 16 types of phenotypes are possible. Next question, 8. Out of 16 plants in the F2 generation of a dihybrid cross, the plants heterozygous for one of the two traits are. We remember a checkerboard method. Sir, these 4 plants are double homozygous. Double homozygous yellow round, double homozygous yellow wrinkled, double homozygous green round, double homozygous green wrinkled. These 4 plants are double heterozygous. Capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. So, 4 plants are double homozygous. 4 plants are double heterozygous. And these 2 plants are capital Y, capital R, small r. So they are single homozygous, single heterozygous. These 2 plants are capital Y, small y, capital R, single heterozygous, single homozygous, single heterozygous, single homozygous. These 2 plants are capital Y, small r, capital Y, small r. In other words, these are heterozygous, homozygous, heterozygous, homozygous. So these are again 2 single heterozygous, single homozygous. And these 2 plants are small y, capital R, small r, small y, capital R, small r. So these are also homozygous, heterozygous, homozygous, heterozygous. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 8 plants are single homozygous and single heterozygous. 8 plants are single homozygous and single heterozygous. Once again, 4 plants here are double homozygous. 4 plants here are double heterozygous. And 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 8 plants are single homozygous and single heterozygous. 8 plants are single homozygous and single heterozygous. So question 8, out of 16 plants in the F2 generation of a dihybrid cross, plants heterozygous for one of the 2 traits are 8. Heterozygous for one of the 2 characteristics. So one is homozygous, one is heterozygous. So 8 are heterozygous for one of the 2 characteristics. Right. A cross of a hybrid with the dominant parent is called as a back cross. Any F2 generation plant, we back cross it with either the recessive parent or with the dominant parent. Then that is called as a back cross. If you cross the F2 generation plant to know whether it is homozygous or heterozygous, and that you cross it only with the recessive parent. If you test cross a F2 generation plant only with the recessive parent to know whether it is homozygous or heterozygous, then that cross is called as a test cross. So once again, if you cross a F2 generation plant with either dominant parent or recessive parent, it is called as a back cross. If you cross it only with the recessive parent, then that is called as a test cross. So every test cross is automatically a back cross, but every back cross is not necessarily a test cross. A test cross with a recessive parent is a back cross, but a back cross with a dominant parent is not a test cross. We cannot know the unknown genotype by back cross with dominant parent. So back cross with dominant parent is not a test cross, but test cross with a recessive parent is automatically a back cross. So here the question is, cross of the hybrid with the dominant parent is, so what's your answer for that? It's a back cross. Next question, 10. If a homozygous pea plant with red flowers and round seeds is crossed with a short pea plant with white flowers and wrinkled seeds, the ratio of red and white flowers in the F2 generation will be. Now sir, they have asked you red flower, round seed crossed with white flower, wrinkled seed. So they have asked you red and round, white and wrinkled in the data, but the question asks is ratio of red and white flower. So ratio of only one characteristic they have asked you. So it is something like, sir, what will be red and round? Red and round will be 9. 9. So how much will be red and round? Red and round will be 9. How many will be red and wrinkled? Red and wrinkled will be 3. How many will be white and round? That will be 3. And how many will be white and wrinkled? White and wrinkled, it will be 1. So dominant 9, dominant recessive 3, recessive dominant 3, recessive 1. That is your F2 generation phenotypic ratio. The question asks us what is the ratio of red and white flower. So they have asked you only what is the ratio of red flower to white flower. So what is the ratio of red to white? 9 plus 3, that is 12, and 3 plus 1, that is 4. So ratio will be 12:4, that is 3:1. So what is the ratio of red to white flower? 9 plus 3 is 2, 3 plus 1, 12:4, that is 3:1. 11. The dichotomous branching system is commonly used to determine the types of gametes formed. So, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r forms 4 different types of gametes, and this branching pattern by which gametes are formed is called as dichotomous branching system. तो इस टाइप का जब gametes हम लोग बनाते हैं, what is that called as dichotomous branching system. Then 12. In a cross between a pea plant possessing inflated yellow pods with another pea plant possessing constricted green pods, the number of plants possessing inflated yellow pods in the F2 generation of the dihybrid cross will be. Inflated is a dominant condition. Inflated is a dominant condition, but yellow pods is recessive condition. Inflated is dominant, but yellow pod is recessive. So how many of them are inflated and yellow? The answer will be 3. Dominant कितने होते हैं? 9. Dominant recessive कितने होते हैं? 3. Recessive dominant कितने होते हैं? 3. Recessive कितने होते हैं? 1. How many are yellow round dominant? 9. How many are yellow wrinkled dominant recessive are? 3. How many are recessive dominant? 3. How many are recessive 1. So how many are inflated yellow? inflated is dominant but yellow is recessive. So how many are dominant recessive? 3. So if the same question was asked, how many are inflated green? Inflated green would have been double dominant 9. How many would be inflated yellow as the question is asked? 3. How many would be constricted green? Constricted recessive green dominant would have been 3. And how many are constricted and yellow both recessive? Answer would be 1. So how many will be dominant 9? How many are dominant recessive? 3. How many are recessive dominant? 3. How many are recessive 1. So that's your answer for inflated yellow pod. Answer will be 3. Question number 13. The reciprocal cross confirms the law of dominance. Sir, what does reciprocal cross suggest? If you remember, we take a tall plant and a dwarf plant. Tall plant का immaculation किया, we made it female. Dwarf plant को बना दिया male and we collected pollen grains. And we take the pollen grains from dwarf plant, put it over tall plant. What will be getting in the F1 generation? All tall. अभी sexes को reverse किया. Tall plant को बना दिया male and we do bagging. And dwarf plant को बना दिया female, we do with emasculation. And collect pollen grain from tall plant, put it over stigma of dwarf plant, and we get the seed, we sow it in the soil. What will we get in the F1 generation? Again tall. So whether tall is female, dwarf is male, or we do a reciprocal cross, and tall is male, dwarf is female, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. F1 generation में what will we still get? Tall. So what does that confirm? Capital T is dominant over small t, and that confirms law of dominance. So what does a reciprocal cross confirm? The law of dominance. Fine. We'll take a small break here. We'll just go into the next.